Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see the numerical on analysis of multi-storied frame by cantilever method part first. In unit number 5, approximate analysis of multi-storied frame in the subject structural analysis 2. This is the statement of the numerical problem on analysis of frame by cantilever method. Determine the approximate values of moment, shear and axial forces in the member of frames loaded and supported as shown in the figure using cantilever method of analysis. Area of each exterior column is 1/2 of the area of the interior column. So this is the loaded frame shown in the figure. Loaded and supported as shown in the figure. So the joint of the frames are A, B, C, D, E, F, then G, H, I. Okay, so total 6 joints are there. So the vertical length of the frame is total length is 6.5 meter and the horizontal length is 10.5 meter. Now here the two horizontal loading, or we also call it as a lateral loading. So one is 25 kilonewton which is acting at a joint G, okay, and second load is the 50 kilonewton which is acting at the joint F. Okay, so this multi-storied frame is subjected to a lateral load of 25 kilonewton and 50 kilonewton. Okay, the next step, so the next step here we have to assume the first assumption in the cantilever method, that assume the point of contraflexure at the center of beam and column. That means at the center of the beam. Now here the center of the beam GH is 1. Okay, so that point we have considered as a contraflexure. Contraflexure means where the bending moment changes its sign, or where the value of bending moment is 0. Okay, now here for the beam GH, 1 is the point of contraflexure. Then for beam HI, the 2 is the point of contraflexure. Now this is the beam. Now for the column GF, we are considering 3 as the point of contraflexure. Then for EH, we are considering 4 as the point of contraflexure. Then for DI, we are considering 0.5 as a contraflexure. Then for the beam FE, 6 is the point of contraflexure, and for the beam ED, 7 is the point of contraflexure. Then for a column AF, the point 8 is the point of contraflexure. Then for column BE, 9 is a point of contraflexure, and for CD, 10 is the point of contraflexure. Okay, so we call this as a node also. Okay, so here in this we have considered the different points at the center of beams and column as the point of contraflexure. Okay, and we have named those pointers. Now the next step in the cantilever method is to determination of center of gravity of the frame, or CG of the frame. Okay, now in the numerical they have given that exterior column area is A, whereas interior column area is twice E. Okay, this is given in the problem. Now to find out the CG of the frame, taking moment of the area of the column at the leftmost column axis. Okay, that means we are taking moment over here. Okay, leftmost column is GH. Now if you observe this figure, the area of the exterior column, what is the area of exterior column? It is A. So area of this column G, I think so, that is GF and ID. The GF and ID, their area is what? E. Okay, whereas interior column area is twice A. Okay, this is important here. Okay, now we are taking moment at which column? Leftmost column. So that is the starting column. At this column we are taking the moment now. Okay, now A1 into 0. Okay, so as this we are taking the moment here, the distance will be equal to 0. Now A2. Okay, A2 into 4.5. Okay, now distance from between GH is how much? it is 4.5. Okay, so A2 into 4.5. Now A3, that means this column. So A3 into 10.5. Okay, equal to what? A1 plus twice A plus A3 into X bar. Okay, now here, somewhere here there is the X bar, for example. Okay, so A1 into 0 plus A2 into 4.5 plus A3 into 10.5 equal to what? A1 plus A2 plus A3 into X bar. Okay, now here, now what is A1, A2, A3? What is area of first column? It is A. What is area of second column? Twice A. And what is area of third column? Again A. Okay, so here also we have to put the value of A1, A2, A3. What is area of A2? It is twice A. What is area of A3? It is A. Okay, put in the value twice A into 4.5, A into 10.5 plus. Okay, now from this, what will happen on the both side? A will get cancelled, and what will get now here? 19.5 A into 4A X bar. So here we'll get the value of X bar as 4.875 meter. Now here we have find out the CG of the frame. Okay, and that CG of the frame is measured from the leftmost column. Okay, so it is 4.875 meter. Okay, now next step is consider the upper story and releasing the frame from the node 3, 4 and 5. Now here, where is the node 3, 4, 5? Here it is at the center of this G. Okay, GF. Here there is at the center there is node 3, here there is node 4 and here is the node 5, and this is the upper story. Okay, now we are releasing, okay, we are removing the frame from there for the analysis purpose. Okay, now here we have released that frame from the node 3, 4 and 5. We know the area A, twice A E. Okay, now already we have found out X bar 4.875 measured from where? From the leftmost column. Now from each column we have to measure the value. Okay, now this will be what now? This will be X2, this will be X3, this will be distance from the second column, this will be the distance of the from the column from the CG point. Okay, that is P point. Okay, now here at node 3, 4 and 5, the two forces are acting. One is horizontal, second one is vertical. Okay, now here and at point G, the horizontal load is acting or the lateral load is acting, that is 225 kilonewton. Now this distance is 1.5 meter. Why 1.5 meter? Because we are taking at the center of the column. Yes or no? Node 3 is at the center. So the total distance is 3. The half of that will be what? 1.5 meter. Okay, now here if you observe or if you take summation fx, h3 plus h4 plus h5, it will be equal to what? Horizontal force here is 25. So here h3 plus h4 plus h5 is equal to 25 now. Okay, now here there are two unknown. Now you have to find out one unknown. So for that, what we'll do now, we'll take the summation of moment at the point P. Here we are going to take the summation of moment equal to 0 now. Okay, now here we are, so what are the vertical forces are there? On the left hand side of the CG, we are considering it is acting downward, and on the other side of this CG, we are considering it is acting upward. Only one force is there, V phi, it is acting upward, and these two forces are acting downward. Okay, so remember this is very important. On the left hand side of the CG, these two vertical forces should be downward. Okay, if the CG is over here, if one is there, one should be downward, on the other side it should be upward. Okay, now we'll take the summation of moment at point P equal to 0. Now V3, how V3 is acting? V3 is acting like this, anti-clockwise. Okay, so V3 into, what is the distance? 4.875. Then V4 into 0.375. Then V pi, so V pi into 5.625 equal to, okay, equal to what now? H3 plus H4 plus H5. Okay, horizontal force H3 plus H4 plus H5. Okay, into what is the distance? 1.5. Okay, now here our one assumption is that for, okay, so as per assumption, axial force in column is proportional to its distance from the centroid and the area of the column group at that level. Okay, now what is that ratio? It is a ratio. What is that ratio? Ratio is equal to stress upon distance from the CG. Okay, now here you have to compare the ratio, this ratio, stress upon distance from the CG of each column now. Okay, now here we have written V3 upon A. Now here V3 is nothing but what? It is a force. And what is area? Sorry, A is nothing but area. So V upon A is nothing but what? Force upon area is nothing but what? It is a stress upon distance from the CG. Yes or no? Force upon area is the stress. Okay, so V3 upon area of this column is what? A. Okay, and what is the distance from the CG? It is 4.875. Then V4 upon what is the area of this column? 2A into 0.375 equal to V5 upon what is the area of this column? A, and what is the distance from CG? 5.625. Okay, after simplifying this, we'll get this value V3 upon 4.875, V4 upon 0.375, and equal to V5 upon 5.625. Okay, now here three unknowns are there, V3, V4 and V5. Okay, now we'll find out the value of V4 and V5 in terms of V3. Okay, so after solving, we get the value of V4 in terms of V3 as 0.154 V3 and V5 as 1.154 V3. Okay, now we'll put the value of V4 and V5 in this equation. Okay, now this is the equation. We'll put the value of V4 and V5 here. So after putting the value of V4 and V5, we are getting this 0.154 into V3, okay, and 1.154 into V3. This is the value of what? V4 and V5. Okay, now after simplifying, we'll get the value of V3. Now what is the value of V3 here? It is equal to 3.283. Okay, now put this value of V3 here, we'll get the value of V4. What is the value of V4? That is 0.506, and again putting the value of V3 in this equation, so we'll get the value of V5. Here if you put this value, we'll get the value of V5. So here we know the V3, V4 and V5. Okay. Okay. Now here, now in the we will consider the free body diagram of the joint G, H and I. Okay. Now here, what terms are knowing to us now here? We know the value of V3. Okay. Now what are the unknown here now? H3, horizontal reaction at node 3. Then horizontal reaction at node 1 and vertical reaction at node 1. It is not known to us. So here how many unknowns are there? 3 unknowns are there. For 3 unknown, 3 equations are required. Okay. Now here, in cantilever method, first equilibrium equation that you have to apply is summation Fy. Whereas in Portal, we have to apply summation Fx equal to 0 first. Okay. Because here the vertical force is known to us. So we are applying first equation is at what? Summation Fy. In Portal method, we are knowing the horizontal force. So there we are applying first equation at summation Fx. Okay. So for cantilever method, we will apply the first equilibrium equation, that is summation Fy equal to 0. Now consider upward force positive, downward force negative. Okay, what are the upward force? V1, okay, minus 3.283. So what value you are getting of V1? It is 3.283. Okay, next equilibrium equation is summation of moment at the point, at the G point, okay, at the joint G. Okay, consider clockwise forces negative, anti-clockwise positive. Okay, now V1, what is the value of V1? 3.283. How it is acting? In which direction? In anti-clockwise direction, so plus. What is the distance? 2.25. Okay, H3. How H3 is acting? In clockwise direction, so minus into 1.5 perpendicular distance. So from this we'll get the value of H3. Okay, so what is the value of H3? 4.925. Okay, now we know the value of H3, we know the value of V1. What is the unknown now? H1. So we'll apply the next equilibrium equation, that is summation Fx equal to 0. Okay, towards right the force is considered positive, towards the left the force is considered negative. So H1 now, it is acting towards the H1 is acting towards the left. Yes or no? So minus, okay. So so H3, it is 4.925. Here we have find out that H3 4.925, it is left, minus 25, it is acting towards the right, plus. Okay. Now if you solve this, we'll get the value of H1 is at 20.076. So here we have find out the value of H1. Okay. Now add this node number 1. Okay. Now here for joint G, H1 is acting in which direction? Towards the left. Now for joint H, this H1 will act towards the right hand side, and this value will remain same, that is 20.076. So this value will remain same. V1 for joint G, it is acting upward, but for joint H, it will act downward. Okay, these things you have to remember, the values will remain same. Okay, now here unknowns are V2, H2 and H4. So first equilibrium equation summation Fy, upward for positive, downward for negative. So V2 acting upward positive, V4 downward, so minus 5.06, and V1 downward again minus 3.283. So we get the value of V2, that is 3.789. Now taking the moment at point H. Okay, so first is 3.283 clockwise plus into 2.25, then H4 acting in clockwise direction, so minus, okay, into 1.5, then V2 acting in anti-clockwise direction, 3.789 into 3. So we'll get the value of H4. Now applying the next equilibrium equation, that is summation Fx equal to 0. Okay, so minus H2 towards left hand side, then 20.076 towards right positive, minus 12.503, that is H4, yes, that is H4. Okay, now here 20.06 is H1. Okay, and H4 is 12.503, as it is acting to the left side, minus. So from this we'll get the value of H2. Now we'll consider the periodic diagram of joint R. Now here only one unknown is there. Which is that unknown now? H5. Yes or no? Okay, V pi is known to us. Okay, so here only one unknown is there, that is H pi. So this is wrong. So only one unknown is there, H pi. So that H pi, you have to apply the summation Fx equal to 0. And if you apply the summation Fx equal to 0, so 7.573 will be equal to H pi. So value of H pi will be what? 7.573. So by mistake this is written. Okay, so value of H pi is what? 7.573, and it will be towards the left hand side. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. Next part we will see in the next second part of the video.